Chapter 2, Season 1. So here we are, the brand new chapter, brand new map. Chapter 2, Season 1 was super long. I think, like, it was because Chapter 2, Season 2 was delayed a bunch. And, yeah, I don't know if it was delayed or if just, like, Chapter 2, Season 1 was just kind of long. It was planned to be that long. But, this was kind of like a restart for Fortnite. A lot of people thought, especially in the later seasons of Chapter 1, that Fortnite was getting too chaotic and stuff. Like it was too far removed from like the original premise of the game, which is just like fight each other with guns and like build and stuff. And the later seasons like kind of strayed from that. But Chapter 2 Season 1 kind of brought us back to that. There were no like wacky locations, there were no wacky weapons and stuff like that. It was just, simple locations, kind of like Chapter 1 Season 1, Chapter 1 Season 2, and simple guns, just like grounded guns, like a completely refreshed loophole and stuff. However, one good thing Chapter 2 Season 1 did was it made the map more interactive. You could interact with like a lot of more passive aspects of the map. You could start like fishing for loot and stuff like that, fishing for health and all that, which was good. You could swim in the water. Actually, you weren't able to swim in the water in chapter 1, but you could actually swim this time around. It was kind of like the whole gimmick of the season, actually, like the whole swimming the water part of it, the fact that the water was actually now interactable with. What else? They had the motorboats, which are kind of like meh, right? They were fine for getting around quickly. I think there was like a whole thing where like motorboats were like able to like drive on land like pretty fast, right? And there was like a whole vote on whether or not like motorboats should still be able to drive on land and stuff, because like people really like that aspect of motorboats. What else? What else? The battle pass was fine. It was nothing to write home about, but it was pretty decent. What else? What else? But like I said, the star of the season was the map, right? The change to map was a huge, huge thing, especially to like people in chapter 1. People were begging for a new map, begging for a new map. They wanted something new, something special. The old map felt like it was getting cluttered. And then we go over to chapter 2 and we get this brand new, fresh map. It was super fun to play on in those early days. Super, super fun. Yeah, it was very refreshing. It did kind of get stale near the end though, because we were going like long periods of time without getting like anything new meaningfully in content. So that was the one negative. But chapter 2 season 1 I think was a very, very strong start to chapter 2. It was very fun. It was nice to have kind of like that new revamped Fortnite with more interactability in the map. It really showed that Fortnite was willing to like evolve in what made their game special instead of just adding like new gimmicky items. So Fortnite chapter 2 season 1, I think, damn it, I'm giving too many seasons S tier. Is this better than season 4 and season 5? What do you what do you guys think? Is it better than chapter 1 season 4, chapter 1 season 5, Fortnite chapter 2 season 1? Because I think it's better than chapter 1 season 3. So it's going to definitely go to a high A tier. But is it S tier above these two? The consensus right oh, sorry. Well, the consensus right now is no, it's not better. So I'm going to give it high A tier. Right, yeah. People are saying like maybe like the first 2 weeks of the chapter, the first 2 weeks of the season were probably better, but as a whole season, they're probably not. Okay, so chapter 2, season 1 gets a high A tier. Uh, yeah, just like very solid overall, very nice reimagining of the game. But speaking of S tier seasons, we've got chapter 2, season 2. This was a very, very beloved season by the Fortnite community. People really liked this one, and it was because of the Battle Pass. I will say that's a major part. This season actually gave the Battle Pass skins like characters, and it's for that reason that to this day people still love the season 2 skins. There are still like fandoms to this day revolving around the season 2 Battle Pass skins. It's like insane how beloved these skins are. What else? It was the first season to properly add NPCs. Like Chapter 2 Season 1 had like the Stormtrooper NPCs that kind of that kind of hung around for the Star Wars event. Which, yeah, okay, yeah, the Star Wars event. I think that single-handedly stops Chapter Two, Season One from being S tier because that event was just horrible on like every single aspect. There was nothing good about it in my opinion. But yeah, Chapter 2 Season 2 properly added these NPCs, these henchmen, and the bosses. The new points of interest, really, really strong theming this season. All the new points of interest were part of the theme. All the new skins were strongly part of this theme, the spy theme. And all the new items were part of the spy theme. There was LTM called the Spy Games, where you had like this weird like new spy augments that you could get, which was really fun. Chapter 2 Season 2, just very strong season. It was very tight thematically. It was very tight gameplay wise. It was very tight skins wise. People really loved this season for a good reason. So I think that Chapter 2 Season 2 is one of the best seasons we ever have. It's very obvious as to why this happens. Animated Zach is asking, the Star Wars event wasn't that season. Yeah, Star Wars event was Chapter 2 Season 1, believe it or not. Unfortunately it was a pretty bad event. Yeah, it was just promotion for the new, I think, Star Wars movies, Star Wars 9, I think. And yeah, it was just not good. Like, to this day, I think that event is a joke, because like I see people talk about like how bad Star Wars 9's writing was, because like they brought back the big bad guy Palpatine with like no explanation, and apparently the explanation was that like his big speech or something that he gives to announce that he's back was in the Fortnite live event. So to this day, it's kind of like a joke. We're like, oh yeah, Star Wars 9 was good. He just had to play the Fortnite live event to understand it, which is pretty funny. Probably the worst of the collabs and stuff. Right, but moving back to Chapter 2, Season 2, this season was, I think, as close to perfect as we can get. This season just, yeah, almost no flaws. The live event at the end, too, was super, super good. The live event, I think, so the combination of, like, the characters this season, like, the fact that the skins actually had characters, and the fact that the live event actually acknowledged that there was like an actual story going on behind the scenes of Fortnite, instead of just like some random stuff that they're coming up with to string like the whole seasons together. This was the first season where the Fortnite storyline was front and center. People were actually like, okay, there's a storyline, and it's coming to the front. And this season was when Epic really started to drive up the storyline. So it was perfect gameplay wise. It was perfect like map wise. It's literally perfect in all ways. Like Chapter 2 Season 2 probably, I think, overall as a Fortnite season is the best season we ever have. Ever. That is right. Okay. Quibi event was the first collab event. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you want to if you want to even count that event as a live event, that was just pathetic, honestly. Oh my god. The Quibi event. It's just like so pathetic that like you can't help but laugh. It was just so bad. Travis Scott event, Chapter 2 Season 2. Yeah, an event that kind of aged poorly, but people really seemed to like it back then. Yeah, it was a very well done, especially considering that like this season came out during. Okay, that might be another reason. Like this season came out like during the pandemic lockdowns when like Epic was working at home, and the fact that they were still able to deliver a great season, like great live events while working from home, was just like nothing short of miraculous. Even, I think the one negative, the one negative Season 2 was that it was delayed near the end, because it was just like constantly delayed. It was delayed for like over a month, like the end of the season, and like people were kind of getting tired of like waiting for the the live events and stuff, right? But we can't really fault Epic for that. So I think Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 is a good season. Okay, hello Divin. Thank you for joining the screen. Animated Zach is asking, what was the Quibi event? I think like Quibi was like this new like streaming service or something that like specialized in like short films and stuff. And for like the event, they played like a Quibi short, like a prank show at like risky reels, but like the prank show was like completely terrible, right? It was not funny at all, right? Nobody's gonna like sit around in a Fortnite match and like watch like this terrible prank show. And I think like the Quibi itself like shut down or something, or like it's like not doing well now, no matter what. Yeah, a show called Punked. Yeah, Joshua was right. Yeah, it was just it is like I think the worst, one of like the worst of Fortnite. It like represents everything bad with Fortnite. Trying to like shove like advertisements into the game. It was like one of the most blatant examples. Like at least with other collaborations, like yes, they're all ultimately advertisements, but at least the community gets something out of it. People get skins that they like out of it. Like people get like cool weapons and stuff that they like out of it. But with the Quibi event, it was just like such a blatant ad. It would be like if they added like billboards in the game, like advertising like real world companies and stuff. It was like worse than that, right? So that's why the Quibi event is so poorly looked upon. Yeah, Cherry, it was quite awful. um, let's see. We just finished chapter 2, season 2. What's your favorite music pack? Mine's Flip Reset. Okay, music pack. Probably like, I don't know, Subterfuge from chapter 2, season 2. It's like a fun spy music theme. It really stands out. Okay, what were we on? Chapter 2, season 3. Where is this? Right over here. Okay. Unfortunately, we have. This is a step down from chapter 2, season 2. I mean, it's a step down. Probably the worst season in chapter 3 so far. Chapter 2 so far, sorry. So the flood at the beginning of the season was a pretty cool novelty. Um, like the fact that most of the map was flooded and underwater and you had to like swim around and stuff. That was like pretty cool. I do enjoy that. However, the problem with this season was that after the floodwaters went down, there was really nothing special about it. It added cars near the end, but I think those were added like too late to salvage the season. Hello, Reed plays. Thank you for joining the stream. But yeah, I think cars were added too late into chapter 2, season 3 to salvage the season. The battle pass was like fine. Jewels is a good skin. Definitely the highlight. I think there's no like outright bad skins this season, but they're not as good as season 2. And for some reason, they just dropped like the whole characterization aspect of the skins. And this is like the first battle pass where like people really don't like this battle pass in particular because the one that solidified the theme of like having collaborations in the battle pass. People were fine with Deadpool in season 2. It was whatever. But with Aquaman in season 3, people really didn't like that. Like, because like Aquaman's not as popular of a character, and like people are like, oh yeah, the battle pass is just gonna be used for ads now. I can't English. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a mark against it. Charge Shotgun was fun. Charge Shotgun was fun. It's a good addition to the game. It's a unique gun. There's nothing else quite like it. Okay, what else do we have this season? Like I said, once the floodwaters went down, it wasn't as fun. Salty Towers wasn't this season. I'm dumb. Marauders, Marauders. Yeah, these were Marauders were one of the worst features ever added to Fortnite. The fact of like roving bands of NPCs that would just like attack you and like ambush you, arguably like a fine. It's not the worst idea ever. However, like they were like way too overpowered, especially like if you're in solos. Like you would just get completely overwhelmed. At least when you fought like NPCs in the previous like spy locations and even like the spy locations like this season, like you could probably like pick them off one by one from a distance. But these guys would just like show up right in front of you and like shoot at you, like all five of them. They had like rocket launchers and stuff too, and they would always seem to like show up at like the worst time, where like you would be like in a box like reviving your friend, and like they would just like show up shooting you with like rocket launchers and like their guns and stuff. But yeah, they were super annoying, especially during like competitive tournaments and stuff for which they were still in. Like you would just lose because you get ambushed like five NPCs with like legendary weapons and stuff. But yeah, like Marauders, not a good time. Um, but yeah, I think chapter 2, season 3. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, chapter 2, season 3. I don't think is good. I think it's probably worse than season 9. No, at least chapter 2 season 3 like delivered on its theme of chapter 2 season 3 delivered on its theme of flood, while chapter 1 season 9 didn't. And I think chapter 2 season 3 had a more fun loot pool and it was more fun to play overall despite the Marauders. So I will put it above season 9. All right, next up we have chapter 2 season 4. Where is chapter 2 season 4? Over here. And if you if you know me, if you know what I think of Marvel, you know exactly where this is going. D tier. This is the worst season in my opinion. Just the entire thing was just a complete collaboration, just a complete ad for Marvel. I guess people liked it. I mean, I guess that it was a fun season. Like, if you ignored the fact that it was like Marvel, if you ignore the fact that it was Marvel and just like maybe just like if I put myself in the mindset, they're like, okay, these were all original characters. This is everything in this season's original. How do I feel about it? Let's go through it. The Battle Pass skins, you know what I feel like about the Battle Pass skins. The items, the guns, they were fine. The new location, like the new biome, like the upstate New York biome, it was fun, but I didn't like the fact that it was just like dropped in as a crater and had like massive cliffs around it. Stark Industries was a pretty location. Like, I don't like the Stark bots and stuff. The Mythics, I think the Mythics were fun. I'll give it that. The Mythics were fun to play with. That Marvel, what is it? Like the Marvel like game mode or something where you play with like the superhero items. That was also kind of fun too. I will give it that. However, I think like overall the season just like fell flat for me. Like, as like a non-Marvel fan, like I really did not like this season. The Galactus event, it didn't help that the Galactus event was pretty bad too. Like, I will give it credit if it deserves it. If the Galactus event was good, I would say it was good even though it was Marvel. However, I think like the fact that it just turned into like an arcade game, like for most of it, where you're just like riding a battle bus, like shooting like monsters or like whatever, like robots in front of you. I didn't like that. That was like kind of not. That was not a good live event. It did lead into chapter 2, season 5 though, pretty well. But yeah, chapter 2, season 4, I think just a pretty bad season all around. I think it was just like unfun for me. Like, so yeah, I think it's a D tier, and it's probably the only season that's gonna get a D tier. Josiah, I'm gonna go eat and have a good stream. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy your food. Let me just grab something real quick. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 2, season 5. We went from one of the worst seasons to one of the best seasons, in my opinion. This season is really, really good. And yeah, it was just really great. So what do we have here? The Battle Pass was excellent. This season. The idea of like bounty hunters was a really, really strong theme. And there was so much variety in this Battle Pass because the idea was that like Jones went around to all these different dimensions and grabbed like the best bounty hunters from each dimension and stuff, the best assassins and stuff like that. And you got a lot of really cool, unique skins. Season 5 was just as much of a collab fest than season 4. However, season 4 was just like constant Marvel, constant in your face. With season 5, you had like really unique collaborations from like a bunch of different like franchises and stuff. Like, of course, we had like I think we did get Marvel skins. We had like some Star Wars skins, like the Mandalorian and stuff, right? But we also got like more like retro collaborations, like Terminator, Alien, The Predator, and there were also like a bunch of like video game collaborations too, like Kratos and Master Chief, and there was like a bunch of unique, cool collaborations from a bunch of different franchises, which made the season much better than the Marvel season, in my opinion. The map this season was fun. The Coliseum was like a super cool addition. I think like the Hunter's Haven, I think it was called, that was really fun to play around. There were a lot of fun locations this season. The center of the map with like the 0 point and like the deserty area around it. Sand tunneling was super fun. The 0 point shards was super fun to play around with. This was just a great season overall. Um, yeah, I think like it did kind of start lacking in content near the end, but I think like all of the guns this season were super fun. I think the combat AR came back this season after being like missing for like almost like 5 seasons at this point. Um, and I think the Mandalorian mythics were super fun. I think they were like the jetpack and like the sniper rifle. That sniper rifle was super fun to play around with. Yeah, season 5 was the opposite of season 4 for me, and that's because season 5 was super fun. Where does it go though? I think it probably goes around here in S tier. This is a very S tier heavy list. This is not how it should be. We should probably I guess lower our criteria for what makes it S tier. Um, but yeah, season 5 was better. It added NPCs. Yes, season 5 did add NPCs proper, like not like AIs that fought you. It actually gave you like NPCs that like you could talk to, and they would give you quests and stuff, which is like awesome. It still stays to Fortnite to this day. That's a good reason. It also added exotic weapons. Exotic weapons are super fun. They're like weapons with like side effects. They add like they're rare as they should be, but they add a really fun dimension to the game. Um, I think they also added bounties, which is not really my favorite feature, but it is a feature. And it also added gold, and gold is like the currency of Fortnite to this day. And getting gold and stuff like that is an important part of playing Fortnite to this day. So season 5 added all that stuff, which is why I think it goes here. I'm gonna move some stuff around. I think season X is probably worse than season 5 because season 5 I think just was more consistent and added more like unique stuff to the game. And I am going to drop down season 4 to A tier and season X to A tier, just because I think I want to make S tier like the cream of the crop, basically, instead of just like a really good season. Okay, next season, chapter 2, season 6. I like this season better than most. The crafting system was super duper fun. Oh my god, Zombie P30. I'm sorry, I'm eating a little bit right now. I shouldn't be eating. Um, oh god, people don't like this season. Somebody called it the second worst season of all time. But yeah, let me explain my position first, and then we can discuss. So, okay, I do admit the battle pass was weak. I don't think there's like a single good skin from this battle pass. Agent Jones was fun, but like Agent Jones is better as a character than as a skin. Like that's just the truth. And I think the rest of the skins were just like really really boring. Neymar Jr. as the secret skin was like completely atrocious. It is probably the worst secret skin of all time in my opinion. Neymar Jr. Wow, that was really really bad. Um, yeah. Map changes. Map changes were fun. I think there weren't a lot of them, but the Spire was a cool location. I think the whole town around the Spire was cool. The solo event at the beginning was really really fun. I forget what it's called, but Zero Crisis event or something like that, right? And that was really fun. We got introduced to the Foundation this season, which like him or hate him, or hate his voice actor more like. Um, it's he is an important character in the Fortnite storyline, and this season did introduce him. And yeah, I think the Spire was a good change. What else? This season added animals to the game that you could hunt for meat and like bones and stuff, which is fun. This season's theme was like more like crafting and stuff because the whole season theme was primal, right? Where like the island has gone wild, and you have to like make your own stuff because like it's primal, you've got to forage for materials and craft your own stuff. So all the weapons were replaced by these things called makeshift weapons, which were like really weak weapons. But the thing is that if you can farm these things called mechanical parts, and you can farm like animal parts, right? I think like bones. Yeah, you can farm bones, and gave if you crafted a if you crafted like a weapon using mechanical parts and a makeshift weapon, you would get like a classic weapon, like classic ARs, classic shotguns and stuff like that, right? And these were fun. These were like the classic weapons. They were accurate and they did damage. Primal weapons, however, they were like the brand new weapons for the season. And the thing is that these things did a lot more damage, but they were a bit less accurate, I think. But the idea of giving us choice is why I like the season so much. Like, the crafting stuff was really, really fun. The makeshift weapons were a bit too weak. I know they're supposed to be weak on purpose, but they were a bit too weak, but they were still usable, like especially in the early game. I feel like they should have gone all in with crafting. Like, the bows were like a step in the right direction, because you can have like mechanical bows and you can have primal bows, right? But alongside mechanical bows and primal bows, you could modify them. Like a mechanical bow, if you crafted something using a mechanical bow and a shockwave, you get a shockwave bow, which was pretty fun. And then I think if you used grenades or something like that, you would get a explosive bow, which was also quite fun to use. The primal bows were a bit worse to use. Like, if you use stink grenades and a primal bow, you get the primal stink bow, which would add like a stink cloud wherever you shot it. And then same thing with I think firefly jars. You can add you can create a flame bow to create fire wherever you shoot it. And I think that was fun. I think like adding chonkers and like vehicle modifiers was also another good thing this season did. Chonker tires and like the cow catchers. I think the cow catchers was this season. Yeah, those were super fun. They made driving cars a lot better than they were. Driving cars were already pretty fun, but chonker tires made them super fun. They made cars much more viable because you could now drive them really quickly over different landscapes and like different surfaces. And like the chonker tires also allowed you to basically drive on water and almost drive vertically, like up surfaces basically, which is like super super fun. But yeah, I think season 6 is a lot better than people give it credit for. I understand why people don't like it, but I think it was a very unique season. It definitely stands out amongst everything else. I will give it high B tier. I think it's better than season 3. Yeah, I think this is where it stands. Is there another C tier or D tier coming along? Who knows? Pretty sure cow catchers were chapter 3. Let's look it up. It was added in chapter 3 season 2. Okay, I was just like completely wrong there. Okay, but even without that, I think the ranking still stays the same. Petition to hide the ad on the left side of the screen with a Jonesy PNG. I'm not really sure how to do that, but yeah, I'm a bad streamer, sorry. I guess you'll just have to look at this ad for the rest of the stream, or until we finish this tier list and I go on to something else. Okay. Let me take a drink of water because I feel like I'm becoming incomprehensible. Alright, moving on to chapter 2, season 7. This was a fun season. Aliens invasion is a theme that we didn't really get before, but it's a theme that was done really, really well this season. The Battle Pass. The Battle Pass was fine. I think it's better than most Battle Passes. I like the alien skins that they gave us. Dr. Sloan was a fun skin. Rick and Morty, or what is the guy? Rick, right? Him as a tier 100 skin was, not really my thing, but it's not really the worst offender. I don't think I ever used a Superman skin once. But other than that, I think the rest of the Battle Pass was pretty fine. The guns this season, like the ray gun and the IO like railgun even those were super fun to use. I think those were cool additions to the game. UFOs coming to the game, they were fine. I think the idea that you can pick up like items and drop them on people was fun. You can literally abduct people and stuff. The mothership above the map and it abducting like whole POIs was really fun. That was a cool mechanic where like you could get abducted like by the abductors and then you would go into the mothership as part of like this experiment. And then you could like get like really good loot there. Like you would basically participate in like this thing where you'd have to grab as many points as possible in like the mothership. And then based on how many points you get, you go to like this treasure room where they give you like different rarities of loot based on how well you did. And that was a really fun mini game, like a mini game within Battle Royale. I think that was like a super fun aspect that not many people really talk about. Like the weird like alien abduction zones with like low gravity in them and stuff, they were super fun. Yeah, invaded POIs were fun too because they change every round. Thank you, Joshua. Um, what else? The live event. The live event was excellent. This was one of the best live events ever, I think. The whole it made sense why like many people would be going through it. Where like Dr. Sloan was sending like IO agents to go and like blow up the mothership from inside, and then like the whole plot twist where you know, where like we get chased through the mothership, and then we finally are able to arm the bombs, right? But then before we blow it up, Kevin shows up, like the cube shows up. That was a pretty awesome plot twist. It was pretty awesome when he showed up, and Dr. Sloan leaving us to like die in the mothership, and then the bigger plot twist that was actually like not spoiled, I think, because like I think going into the event a lot of people knew that like Kevin would come back, but like when we go up into like the main mothership and like that moment happens where like we see like another cube come up and like, oh shit, there are two cubes, and then you see like three, four, five, and then like the whole room is made out of cubes. There are like literally hundreds of cubes. That was like a really proper, like one of the only proper like oh shit moments in Fortnite, right? That was an excellent like reveal for the live event that there were like a bunch of cubes and that we were mistaken, that we were like duped ourselves, and the fact that blowing up the mothership would bring the cubes onto the island. That was an excellent live event. And the way it ended with us falling from the mothership, and then we look up and we see the mothership blowing up and the cubes are all falling down and crashing onto the island. One of the best live events ever. But yeah, enough about the live event. The live event was good. That's all I really need to talk about. The items were good. The battle pass was okay. People in the chat are talking about the Ariana Grande concert. Not really my thing, but I think it's a pretty good concert. I think like when I was like researching it on YouTube for like my Fortnite iceberg, I think like even people like Ariana Grande fans proper who didn't play Fortnite said that they really liked the concert. That it was like respectful and it made sense for a lot of Ariana fans. So there's that. So yeah, Chapter 2, Season 7. Where does this rank? Probably I think this ranks at around. Is it better than Chapter 1, Season 4? They're kind of like similar seasons with like the same theme of like alien invasions and stuff. But does it rank better than Season 4? Personally, below Primal. That's also another interesting thing to keep in mind. I think the theme of the season is better than Primal's, but I think Primal was just like so unique. And like, they tried a lot of new stuff and it added a bunch of new stuff to the game, right? While like Season 7 was like more consistent in what it added, but it was like less uh you know less creative in what it did. I think it is better than Season 4. I think just like the cool stuff it added. I think mechanically I like Season 6 better, but Chapter 2 Season 7 is probably just slightly worse than Chapter 2 Season 6. Later on during the stream, is it possible we get a sneak peek of Part 3 of the Iceberg? Yes, in fact, later on the stream, I'll be working on the script of Part 3 of the Iceberg. It's all here. Well, this is Part 1's and Part 2's script. But part 3 is like all the way down here, I think. And I was working on the script, and after the tier list, I'm probably just gonna spend the rest of the time working on the script on stream. But yeah, here. This is part 3 of the stream right now. Part 3 of the iceberg, sorry. Yeah, where does part 3, layer 3 start? Yeah, layer 3 starts here, and I've got several entries created, and we're gonna continue and try and do a bunch of them today on stream. But moving back to the Fortnite seasons. Okay, Chapter 2, Season 8. This was disappointing, in my opinion, because Chapter 2, Season 7 ended on such a strong high note. But Chapter 2, Season 8, it just really dropped the ball. It was like the same thing as like almost Season 9 almost, where it didn't really do like what the previous season promised. Like this previous season promised like this apocalyptic event where like cubes were like taking over the island and stuff. And then like the Season 8 trailer also did the same thing. Like the whole island was like covered in like these cube corruption areas, and like they were fighting for their lives against the cubes. And then you go into the actual game and it's not that. Yeah. I think like this season is just not that memorable. It wasn't like that destroyed. The cubes coming back was fun. The Chapter 2 end event was fun. I'm not a... Now, you watch my videos, you know, the whole Dwayne Johnson reveal during the end event. I didn't like that personally. However, it did get Fortnite very popular at the time. People were like, oh shit, Dwayne Johnson in Fortnite. It went viral on the internet. So that was like a big part of getting Fortnite popular back into like, Chapter 3, which is, I think Chapter 3, despite being a very mediocre chapter overall, was one of the catalysts to bring Fortnite back into popularity. But yeah, back to Chapter 2, Season 8. The live event, other than like the whole Dwayne Johnson thing, was super, super cool. We got to see like other members of the Seven come back and like, fight against the last reality and IO and stuff. The whole flipping the island thing, that like scene at the end where like, you're out in the water and then you see like the whole island flipping over in front of you. That's just as good, if not better, than like the Chapter 1 end event where you see like the rocket coming down into the black hole with the asteroid and stuff. But yeah, the Chapter 2 Season 8 live event, it was pretty good. I think the rest of the season is just like too mediocre. There wasn't a lot of special parts about the season. Like it added like the weird like what was that guy, JB Chimpanski, and like his war effort to bring back certain weapons and stuff. That was fun. Although JB Chimpanski seemed like he was kind of scamming us out of our gold, but whatever. But other than that, I don't know, like the weird like corruption zones, I didn't really like them. I think this season once again just had really good ideas but not good execution. Yeah, this is not bad. This might be high C, and honestly, in all honesty, yeah. Probably above Season 6 though. But yeah, I think like this season just like fell flat completely for me. The end event does raise it up, but it's not enough to save the whole season. Carnage as tier 100 was also just awful.